There is almost nothing worse than a presentation that you're giving, maybe a dashboard to the boss or maybe a presentation for a bunch of people, and you get the loading icon on your desktop, right? Indicating that something is not right. A lot of times it's network performance. Maybe the wireless or wired network is not working, or you're at a convention center and you're not getting the right network services. Whatever the problem is, this is a problem. And today, we don't need to deal with this problem anymore. We can actually have artificial intelligence running in the background, monitoring, learning about our networks, both wired and wireless, all magically, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it can outperform any group of humans that you set in front of it. So stay tuned. In this discussion, we've got the problem now. We have blinking dots saying that something is loading. Let's dig into a real quick example of how AI can help solve this issue. So when we talk about AI in a network infrastructure, it's really important to discern between the network from a wired and a wireless perspective, as well as the ability that the AI has to take action, which we're going to go over in a couple slides from now. So basically, we want to install an AI component that is learning our system. So how does it do that? It's learning traffic patterns. It's looking at audit logs. It's scanning network and port configurations and traffic associated with each port. It's understanding how long a packet takes to get from point A to point B. It knows all of it, and it's not just seeing it once like a human. We may be monitoring it or taking a spot check or watching it up on a big screen. No, it's doing it constantly all the time for both wired and wireless. And we want to make sure that those are together because they are so integral in our environments today. They work together and it's got to be 100% seamless. So let's paint out what this situation looks like. Because the AI has been learning about the environment, it realizes at 7 p.m. every weekday, at 7 p.m., VLAN number 12 slows down. It knows that because it's been watching, learning, understanding, and it knows that VLAN 12 gets overwhelmed. Now, it may not know the exact reason that perhaps there's 1,000 people jumping onto that VLAN at 7 p.m. It doesn't know that necessarily, but it does know that it gets overwhelmed and service is degraded. And so the AI itself learns, and it learns just like, and we'll use the example of ChatGPT because so many people are familiar with chatbots. And I've done several videos on exactly how AI learns. And remember, it's learning on meaning. So it's taking all of this information and ultimately bakes it into a bunch of numbers so that it understands the meaning of everything that's going on. Now, this is no different than what happens in a network environment. It's consuming information, just like you asking a question to ChatGPT, for example, or Gemini, or whatever product you're using. It's just like that. You're asking the question in a full text or natural language, and the AI understands what that is, understands the meaning of each word that you're using because it has learned about those words and associated meaning to each one of those words. And because of it, it can give you a response back almost. In fact, most of the time, it's just like talking to a human. It can give you a response and process its brain that fast. That is the power of artificial intelligence. Now, when it comes to taking action, beware. There are many tools out there, some from very popular network providers, that will say that, everybody says that their system does AI. I mean, you can just pretty much accept that. So what does that really mean when you say it does AI? Well, in my book, if it's doing AI, it's doing the work that I need it to do to keep my customers happy. So it's not just watching things on the network and learning and maybe sending a message to me saying, hey, you need to fix that. No. It needs to take action. It needs to make sure that everything it does is historically correct, that it knows exactly how to back out of things. It needs to be better than a human and needs to take immediate actions on what's going on in the environment. And it's doing that through learning. So be careful. Some of the vendors that provide networking AI, they're really only watching what's going on. You need them to take action. Caution number 2, you need to watch out for those tools that do not incorporate natively the same strength with wired and wireless environments. Look, the reality is I have not been in an environment in the last 10 years where wireless is not prevalent. Well, I guess in military settings, in higher security levels, wireless doesn't exist. But outside of that, in the normal world, wireless is the way that we communicate because it's so efficient now. So we got to make sure that whatever tool we're using for AI does both wired and wireless. And at the end of the day, what does it do? It makes you look like the hero. You're the hero in this story. The network doesn't have its issues. Why? Because the AI knew that the VLAN was going to have problems around 7 p.m. It diverted and split up the traffic to go different directions so that the user didn't experience those irritating application or data loading circles. That is what AI does for all environments. You can use it today. I think probably the strongest solution that I've seen in the market so far, and I always forget its name, is the one by Juniper. So Juniper has an AI that they use, and doggone it, hold on, I'm going to have to look it up here, but they use an AI called Mist AI. There it is, Mist AI. And that Mist AI does everything that I've talked about. It does wired and wireless. If you haven't checked it out, I certainly would. Even if you're a Cisco shop, it's okay to look. They actually do integrate with Cisco and do some things with the Cisco environment as well. And of course, you can check all of that online or just ask your favorite chatbot about Mist AI. Thanks. Take care.